Are you a North Carolinian, born and bred, or are you from someplace else?
Oh no, I was born and bred in the Caribbean, the island of St. Martin.
Ah, she has that lovely accent, like, yeah. So, yeah, wow, St. Martin to North Carolina. That's just your story. We'll get into that. So, this is a question I ask you, ladies. What got you started in sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
For me, I got into this because of a dare, believe it or not. I've been an athlete my whole life as a track and field professional athlete. And some things shift inside of my life where it retired me from competing in track and field. And because of that, I just came out of a situation health wise, and my girlfriend was like, "Hey, you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, this is not for me." And she did bikini, and she dared me. She was like, "Just do it. You got nothing to lose. Just compete with me." So I pulled it off in 2 months, right after treatment. That's how
Hmm,
I got it.
yeah. And what was the condition that you're going through that kind of sidelined you a bit for a little
So,
while?
um, after my Olympics in 2000, I got actually, let me see, was it? Yeah, 2000. After the Olympics, I was getting ready for Beijing, the next Olympics, and then I got diagnosed with cancer, and it ended my career, literally. And then I just someplace like, okay, what do I do now? Then I have a plan or a vision on the direction that I'm going. It took me about 3, 4 years to get back on my feet. And then I came out of chemo and she was like, hey, do this with me. And I was like, yeah. Then that she did me. So I said, okay.
Well, let's say thank you to your friend because if she didn't dare you, we get that opportunity to talk to you. And you said you were Olympian 2000. Wow, I remember that. That was, I think that was the year. Was it here in Australia that year?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, yeah. And what was your what sport did you participate in
Track
that
and
year?
field. And my event was the 800.
That's one of the tough ones. I mean, you have to go around for a good while. I mean,
Just twice, just twice, just twice.
yeah. Well, for me, that's twice a little too much. I played for a sports too. I played football. We mostly run down, but yeah, we had to run. We had to do gases and we mess up. But yeah, that's quite a few ladies who are in bodybuilding had a track and field background. Most definitely, one lady who I can think of the 8-time Miss Olympia, Linda Murray. She was track and field star. Another lady I think of also Rika Jones, and also Mila Ash. There's quite a few ladies that's transitioned from that sport to bodybuilding.
Yeah. I think it's a good transition.
Yeah, because I've seen some of your track women, y'all built like stallions. Yeah,
Right.
because I think who were you on your team that year when you were competing?
Um, I ran for my country, so I'm not sure who was on the U.S. team, but a lot of times it's a difference between that. But I went to college, and 7 of my teammates from college went to the Olympics that year.
That's cool. I remember that year Marion Jones ran. I think that was the last year for Gail Beavers, I believe, before she retired.
Correct.
Quite a few others. I mean, there was I think Alex and Felix was just about starting up at that time. I
Yep.
mean, yeah, I mean, I used to love watching, especially y'all track women. Y'all was just, but it's a sport that's I would say that's why I like bodybuilding and that because it's more of a pure human sport. Like no offense to like football, baseball. I also am a fan of MMA, mixed martial arts, but it's about as an athlete what guides you and drive you, especially as a woman in the sport.
All right.
Mhm. So after the 2000 and then after the diagnosis, what was life like for you? Because being a Olympian and then surviving this cancer scare and then finding bodybuilding, what was life for you after that?
Life was just moving. Um, Once I got diagnosed, a lot of my time was spent in and out of the hospital trying to get a grab of all what's going on. So from chemo to surgery to radiation to not working to basically back on chemo, finding a balance. I have a son, balancing him. I was a single mom. So it was just moving. And all I had to do is just continue to move the moving pieces and pieces of the puzzle and put things in place on a daily basis. But it was a time where I just feel like I was just existing.
Yeah, that's the thing is like my mother was also a single mother. Even though technically her and my father was still married for 55 years. He lived up in New Jersey. We still in North Carolina, and she had to raise not just one kid. She had to raise five others, counting my brothers and sisters, and that's tough to especially raising a boy because most definitely this is why I say this. It takes a man to teach a boy to become a man, but a mother teaches the adult stuff, the stuff we need to learn. And I think, how old is your boy, and what's he doing now?
He's 18. He just joined the Navy. And
Ah,
he's a really good kid. I'm proud of him. I believe that I did a great job raising him, and I have a great family support and system. So with them and me by ourselves, it took that village to raise him to who he is today.
I can sense that because I learned, like I said, I learned stuff from my mother, but it was people like I had an older brother. My father had a older son, and I had my big brother, who was the one who really we talked earlier. He was the one who got me into this whole thing with bodybuilding, and people like my uncle and my grandfather, they taught me things I need to learn as a man, and it's good that you have that. It's good that, especially your family's still back in the islands, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So what got you to come here to North Carolina?
Um, my career was track and field, so a coach came to my island that was doing exceptionally well. I was on France national team. I traveled on the European circuit for a while. I'm French. That's my nationality. I'm French. And I traveled for a while. I've did exceptionally well where I had records, and a coach from the US came by and they wanted to talk to me and came to the US at the age of about 14, got a full ride through college, and it just went from there. I had a great career.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And here's the thing: is you're my second sister from France. I got to have an interview. I interviewed Barbara Majan a couple of years ago. And Barbara just announced her retirement. Amazing lady. I mean, great physique. Yeah, she was for the last few years top four at the Olympia, but she's kind of slipped down. But now she's moving on to doing other things. Yeah, coming from Europe to the Caribbean to America, it's a lot. You've been around the world.
Uh, I must say, uh, I was blessed. Let's put it that way.
Well, like I said, my mom used to tell me, trust and believe, because God always has a way for anybody. So, what was that like that first time on stage? You got to think about it. Your girl dared you, and then you have to go on the stage. You had to put on this little suit, and you had to walk in front of these people half naked.
Well, that was not one of my concerns. As a track athlete, we are on a track in a bikini, so that was never an issue for me. And also, being from the islands, you live on a sunny island, you constantly not covered up. So that was not one of my issues. What I did, I was actually nervous coming from a top tier track and field to going on stage. I just couldn't remember what the heck I was doing. And again, I did it by myself. I just decided to just prep my own self, follow some guidelines, and do it. I did place fifth and that show that I went to. And that fifth just did not sit too well with me. And that made me want to come back. Now I decided to do things smarter, better, in a different way. And I went from there. Got a coach.
Yeah, that's good because you know what, doing the sport, you have to find out the things that works for you the best. Now, you're a special kind of few people who can do it by themselves. While a coach, it's hard because sometimes there's some things you miss aesthetically because there's a particular look, a particular style. Now, what was the vision you were starting? Was it bikini or was it figure first?
It was always figure. I never fit in that bikini division because my shoulders was always broader on the side. So I always had a bigger upper body anyway. The fact that I just came off of chemo 2 months before the show, I was just a teeny, broad shoulder. I look like a Y. So I was always,
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think when it comes to aesthetics and genetics, it's about how your body functions, what things that the judges are looking for, and with especially with a division like figure where it's been around for quite some time. It's probably one of the third oldest divisions in the sport of bodybuilding for women. The look has changed and over the years. If you look at it right now, you just said again we just had the Olympia about 3 weeks ago, and you had that you have a new champion. That's Rhea Gale,
mhm,
who took over after Sid Gillen was dominant for practically, I would say, 10
yeah,
years.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
In the sport, it, oh, what did I say?
I agree.
Is there anybody in the sport that you follow as a competitor that you admire their aesthetics, their work, or just overall physique?
Sid has always been top of my athletes that I follow because she also had that track and field background. And a lot of things that she did or was doing, I was relating to because I've done it. And I liked her look, I like her physique. And my position, like when I figure, I end up in figure because I think figure picked me. I didn't pick figure. I just fell into that spot right there. Um, and I was willing to grow from that and watch everybody else, learn from everyone else. I coached myself for many years. I just had a nutritional coach, and it worked for me because I can push myself on a whole nother level than other people has pushed me before.
Yeah, that's good. And who's your coach now? Who are you working with now? Is your main coach?
Jimmy Leach, he's down out of South Carolina. He's the fat burning coach, and I I randomly just met him actually. The same show I did where I was nervous and forgot the quarter turns. He left his athlete and came over to me. He was like, just take a deep breath and just do this. And I'm looking at him like, yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. And then he gave me his information. And we connected since 2016 to now. And he's just my nutritional coach, but he works for me. I think all coaches have to work for you. He understand my health situation, and we always put health first. So no matter what's going on, it's always health first. And I don't need a coach that breathe down my back. You give me a task, I execute my task. It just worked for me, and he is just that coach. A lot of people, it wouldn't work for a lot of people because a lot of people need someone to hold their hand. I'm okay with that.
I think especially coming from your background, being an athlete, especially a high level competitive athlete in track and field, there's different levels. Yes, I've talked to some ladies that their coach is more like their husband or that other man in their life. That they have a close bond with them. But then if you understand that this is a person that works for you, and
Mhm.
I respect that real lot. And I remember I was talking to a friend of mine. She was thinking about doing a show, but then her coach said, "Don't do the show." And I said, "You know what? You missed the opportunity. This was an opportunity for her to get Olympic qualification." I said, "Hey, you're paying this person to help you with your bodybuilding, and you had an opportunity. Understand you respect that person as your coach, but this is the thing is this is about you, and this is somebody whose job is working for you." We had here a shout out to my man KL, the Wonder coming through. Shout out to him. He says, good afternoon, brother. How you doing? So, that thing is, it's a lot of work to bring that certain level, a certain condition and shape. As you know, the visions have evolved over time because you've been doing it for a little over 10 years, just about, right?
Yeah, I started and I stopped. I started in 16. I qualified in 16 to go to nationals. Um, was it 16? No, I started in 16 to begin with. Then I had shoulder surgery. Then I had knee surgery. So I stopped for like 2 years. Um, and after that, I came back in 2019, and I went back to the same show that I placed fifth in 2019. I just had to go back to that show and prove to myself that I'm better than that. Qualified for national, got my pro card at nationals. So I got my 3 pro cards at nationals that 2019 year. I started competing in OCB. I did exceptionally well in the OCB Federation also. And then I just said, okay, well, it's time to make a switch.
Yeah, because OCB is a natural federation. I've know a friend of mine. She just made her figure OC debut just about 3 weeks ago, and quite a few competitors are like you get your pro. I mean, you got your pro card at the Ben Weeders that was in 2021.
Well, which one of my pro cards? The
That
IFBB.
you IFBB
I originally got my IFBB pro card in 2019.
2019. So you did the Ben Weeder in 2021, right?
Right. So I did the nationals in Pittsburgh in 2019. And then I wanted to do my debut in 21. And it told me that I was with a whole another federation and I need to requalify again. So I went back to the bin reader and recollected the IFBB position.
Yeah, because there's no OCB and NPC and IFB are two different federations. Either you're pro one, you can't be pro in the other because it's like I don't know, it's some issue. Because I know a while back a friend of mine told me that it was a guy who was actually he competed. No, he didn't compete. He was guest posing at another show in another federation. He lost his Olympia qualification because there's so many rules with the
Contract.
yeah. Yes, this is contract issues. But the thing is, hey, he was trying to make a check because bodybuilding is a not very lucrative sport.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah. So, folks, where we got Flo here, we're going to jump into social media for a bit. If you want to follow her and check her out, the link is in the description out here. So, guys, I know she's a lovely lady. She's nice, very, 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 very polite lady. But you guys out there, I know because I'm one of you guys. I must have heard smell. I love these beautiful women. Be respectful. She got a kid. She's a nice lady. She's got a church this afternoon. Come talk to me. If we have problems, she's here in my home state. I'm gonna take care of it. Because you know what? Ma'am, I'm a natural born Southern gentleman. It's always my job to protect the lady. So we're gonna jump into her social media for a bit. So you want to follow the link? It's in your live stream. And here she is. As you know, she competed at the Hurricane Pro. And what was like there? Because this I think it was in what was this show in was it Tampa or
St. Pete, Florida. St. Pete's, Florida.
Oh, St. Pete's. Okay, yeah. So what was that feeling there? That show. What was your feel? Because you did both the Open, you did the Masters over 40 and 45.
Correct. I went into this show with no expectations. I've been 2 years off the competitive level with anyone. I just had to take 2 years off to try to develop a body that I'm looking for myself. And in the process of that, I just went in with a clear mind. I was not looking for anything. This time I competed for another reason. And it's just to prove to myself that I'm capable of doing anything that I want to do. And despite the odds that's usually stacked against me, I just look at it and say, hey, you know what? I'm not doing this for anyone. I'm doing this just for me. And that was it. So I was pleased with my package that I put together. I was definitely, I've grown in the 2 years in so many different ways, physically, mentally, emotionally. So this time it was just about Florencia. That's it.
Yeah. From this video and this pictures I've seen, you look pretty impressive. I mean, she won second place in both the over 40 and 45, and she was in the 15th, around the 15th, was in the top 15 at the open part because there was a lot of ladies, a couple ladies. It was a couple ladies that just did the Olympia maybe a couple weeks before. Here's it's a little video here she has, what to talk about.
Good morning and happy Monday. I'm here to do my recap for this weekend Hurricane Pro. Didn't get to do it yesterday, was traveling. So today is the day where I want to, do my recap. As I do this cardio, I'm trying to get it out of the way. I am happy where I'm at mentally. This has been a journey for me. I want to thank God for keeping the faith, because, you lose faith a lot of times, but I had to remind myself of who I am and whose I am. And He has definitely showed me that He's not done with me in any form of way. It's not just about bodybuilding, it's about life in general. And I've always trusted in Him first before I decided to do anything. Most of you don't know, this prep, I did it and done it on chemo. I just stayed quiet with it because a lot of times too much noise stop you from focusing on top of your goals and what you need to do and what's important for you to do. I always need a sense of reason, a sense of purpose to stay out of that rabbit hole, because it's not a good place to be, and the frustration about everything else takes its toll. I had my challenging days where I have no energy, tired. Some of the side effects from the chemo is challenging, but I had to remind myself that it is part of the deal. That is my life, that is my normal, and I choose to do it different. Yes, it may be insane for people, but it makes sense for me. So, I developed a lot of skin issues on this chemo. It sucks, but it's a part of the deal, and I had to let it go. It made me uncomfortable and self-conscious about, revealing my skin. And that's actually was one of my feedback, that I need to smooth out my skin from the judge. So I told him, I was like, unfortunately, I can't do that. That comes from my chemo. He looked at me like, you what? I said, yeah. But I don't need to give that information in advance for any special treatment. It is just what it is. So, we move forward from that. I'm glad I was able to make it to the finish line, which I always will. No matter what I set myself out to, I go and try to get it done. So I did Masters 40 and 45 plus on Friday. I placed second in both categories. And I was happy with my placement. I can see why I ended up second, and I'm content with that. I didn't come in with, again, any high expectations. I just needed to see where I stand. And I placed second. First time doing a 2-day show. That was interesting. I peaked on Friday, and I could not peak again on Saturday. Again, with my chemo, a lot of water retention, and my body finding adjustments to peak back again. There's just too much going on with my body in order for certain things to fall in place the way they're supposed to. I did open on Saturday, and I placed 14th in the open on Saturday. Again, I was okay, and I was at peace with that, because I know I gave it all that I had. This prep has been more smart and not hard. So I had to work smarter. I came in starting this prep out with a knee problem. I have lost some consciousness in my knees. I was on crutches. I was in a brace for months. But I decided I was going to compete regardless of the brace, regardless of the chemo. And wherever I land, I land. But that's my dream, my goals, my determination, my will and mind. So I'm happy with what I got out of it, with all that I had going on.
And I'm not here to complain about what I have going on. I'm here to just say, at the end of the day, we all have choices, and you have to be at peace and comfortable with the decisions that you make. Me is competing. It gives me a different drive to show me that no matter what happened in my life, health-wise, I can always push through it. Came in a little bit softer on Saturday. It is what it is. But overall, I want to say thanks to my support system, my team that's always just been just there, quiet, even though they're not on board sometimes. They just let me figure it out. My coach has been a driving force behind this whole prep because he adjusted so many things in order for my body to regulate itself with being on treatment. So if you have to make modifications, he made them. And that has helped tremendously because you need the right person on your team as a coach that understands your situation. And that is the reason why I've rode with him for this long, because it's always held first with him. And even though he don't agree, he'll let me know this is a situation. I don't agree. We need to make some adjustments. And we just come to an understanding. We got to be on board. Period. We got to be on board. But again, I just want to touch base and just let everybody know that it is what it is. I'm doing good. I'm happy. I actually was very happy stepping back on stage again and presenting myself of all the work that I put into. It's not for nobody else. It's really, truly for me. Just knowing that I can push through anything at any time and moment. I've always been an athlete first. Mr. Olympia qualified by one for the Masters. But again, whatever God will is, I accept it and I move on. And all the rest falls in place. But I'm always going to be happy with where I'm at and who I am as an individual first. So, thank you everybody for love, support, encouragement, and anything that you've touched my life with. I appreciate it. So, until the next time, peace out.
Yeah, well, man, I gotta respect your dedication. That's one thing about bodybuilding. You need dedication and discipline. Here she is with awards, taking second here in women's over 40, second in women's over 45. And what was that feeling for you when they announced that you were so close, just by a point?
Feeling for me was neutral. And the reason why I said that is because everything happened in this time. And I don't believe God is going to put you a place where he don't think that you're ready to be. So I accept that. I'm very accepting to a lot of things in my life. And I just don't think that God is ready for me at that time and moment. So it's, very neutral.
Mhm. Well, that's good, because some competitors would be like, "Ah, man, I just nah." I got the judges. Sometimes it can be frustrating bodybuilding as a sport,
It's okay
especially.
if you're doing it for yourself and not doing it for everything else that's around it, you're going to be at peace with it. I'm at peace with it because I do this for me. And wherever I land, I'm I'm happy. There's nothing to be fussing about. It's a subjective sport. Everybody knows it's a subjective sport going in. There's criteria, yeah, but it's subjective. And if you're not willing to accept the criticism from an individual, then maybe you're in the wrong place.
Mm, I mean, you give a good point, but the thing is, a lot of people can be a little extra sensitive about things. Some
Yeah.
generations feel like they are supposed to get this or get that. But if you don't understand what's involved with it, the work you put in, the time you put in, here she is getting. This is a little video she made where she's getting ready to train. Like, what's training like for you? What's like when you're in the gym? What's that thing you love the most about training, and the thing you like the least about it?
I like to work out in general. That's just I do that even if I'm not competing in bodybuilding. I'm always going to be in the gym. The gym is my safe haven. The gym is my peace. The gym is my all the problems go away moment. So I utilize that as my drive. So training looks like I'm enjoying it because I am enjoying what I'm doing. I'm visualizing me and the work that I'm putting into it and what I can get out of it.
hmm And that's fair to say because it's a lot of work. The diet, the training, being consistent, especially you dealing with your diagnosis, going through chemotherapy. I mean, for these videos, you look pretty amazing. And are these some family and friends of yours here?
Yeah, that's my mom and my niece.
Uh, what was that like for your mom when she ever been to your shows, ever seen you work out and train?
Yeah, they have. They're my parents are very supportive. I cannot say uh, their love and support that I have is out of this world. And I'm grateful and blessed to be able to have parents like them. It's just words cannot even express how much it means to me. They've always stand by my side from day one, competing in track and field. And it doesn't matter where and what direction I go. They will be standing right next to me at all time. Even though they might not be like, they was like, oh my God, all these muscles, girl, you're doing too much. Your body needs a break. My parents say all of that. But when it comes time to step up to the plate, they're there.
hmm Here's you with your boy. I know you're proud of
I,
him.
yeah,
Yeah, I see. This is
that's
why I
my
say,
twin sister. That's my
yeah.
niece. That's my mom. I have a twin.
Well, I say this to anybody who serves our country. I don't say thank you for your service. I say, as a citizen, I appreciate the sacrifice you're making on behalf of this country, because especially for a young man. I mean, and this is you're your twin.
Yes.
Wow, yeah. That's double. That's double. And here's some pictures here. Also, she does a little modeling. Yeah, wow. I mean, ma'am, if I tell you you have a beautiful body, will I be lying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about society. When you look at women like yourself, who is a bodybuilder, they feel it's not traditional, especially you coming from the Caribbean, where the idea of real muscle is just not is the standard. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, that is so true. And a lot of us get more of a negative feedback, or I don't want to even say a negative feedback. I would say usually people that are not comfortable or secure in themselves are intimidated by women that don't look the norm type of thing. I've always looked like an athlete. I've always had muscles, and I will always have muscles by the end of the day. That's just what I want for myself. And there are people that prefer to look more on the softer side, and I just respect that also. So it is not what society looks for per se, but it's not about society. It's about you and where you stand and what you see yourself for. That's it.
And that's true because you know what, you have to live for you. You can't live for nobody else. Doing the sport, and especially doing these interviews, talking with you ladies. And as I said again, I'm a fan of y'all ladies. I think y'all beautiful. All women are beautiful. Like I said, I grew up with I had three older sisters. My mother. I had jobs where I worked with women. All day. I used to work about 10 hours a day, 4 hours 10 hours a day, 4 days a week with ladies, and then at night I worked another 5 6 hours with ladies. I worked at a gentleman's club. So every woman is different. Everybody's built different. No one's really the same. If we're
Nope.
all the same, it'd be boring.
Correct.
hmm And muscles, especially being an athlete, muscle is the factor because especially when you're running, because you get 8 meter, you get 800 meters. You had girls probably on your same team that probably did the 200 to 100. They needed that muscle to propel and push themselves. It's the fundamental part about building your body.
Right. And
Mhm.
for me, it's very important because I believe this whole bodybuilding thing. I won't even call it a bodybuilder thing. I believe my journey in bodybuilding has mentally saved me, if I want to put it that way, because I know the extremeness of this sport. It reminds me every time that I'm down and every time that I go to treatment, every time my side effects is kicking my behind, I remind myself how extreme I am to even do this whole bodybuilding thing. So it brings a sense of peace and a sense of excitement for me because it shows me what I am capable of if I put my mind to it. And I'm always going to push further than I'm supposed to push. I'm always going to want more than other people expect for me to get out of it, but it's not about anybody else. It's about what Florencia can do, what Florencia is capable of doing, and what Florencia enjoy doing. This journey is really and truly about me. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It has helped me to become a stronger individual because when I got diagnosed